Right. You didn't submit anywhere else, no? This is the first time you didn't submit to the Moodle, did you, Navodaya?
No, sir. I didn't submit. I submitted only the proposal, not this one, sir, actually. Only proposal I submitted.
What was the feedback you got on the proposal?
I didn't get any feedback, but we had a session for the proposal also. So you didn't. You said it was okay, actually.
Ah. You're taking notes, no? You're
Yes,
doing MS Holdings as a whole.
I didn't get, sir. But
You're taking MS Holdings, the full organization. You're not taking a
no, I'm
subsidiary.
taking as the whole, sir. It's easy, I think.
No, no. Give me 1 second.
Okay.
Tomorrow morning is fine. Right. No, you know why? Because I need the details of how many employees. So key brands are Nike, Adidas, and Victoria's Secrets, no? I need the size of the company in terms of number of people working for MS. I want the regions it supplies to, and in what Nike, Adidas, and Victoria's Secrets, uh, what category types. So that means whether they are what kind of clothing is it. Do they supply formal wear, winter clothing, those that kind of
Okay.
details as well. Okay.
Okay. So can you please tell it me? I want to note it down.
Yeah, so I need the size of the company. That means number of people working for the
Okay.
organization,
Size of
which regions
company.
it supplies to, so it's
Okay.
markets. Also, if you can give some stats on in terms of revenue, how much money
Yes.
they make on a
Okay.
annual
Okay.
basis, average
Yeah.
revenue
Okay.
for 5 years.
Okay.
Uh, yeah, so you have put 100,000 people, no?
Yeah. In terms of stats.
Yeah, better to be a bit more specific.
Okay.
Uh, and say exactly how many people.
Okay.
And when you say few countries, which countries is it operating?
Okay.
That's the other thing that I think that it would be best to choose one of the
Yeah.
organizations
I can
as
understand,
opposed to
sir.
the overall. So either
Yeah.
Active, Intimate, so Linear Aqua, one of the organizations. What is the problem that you're looking at now?
So I'm actually mostly focusing on the labor shortage.
Labor shortage.
Yeah.
Which function is there labor shortage in? So now this is a bit of a tricky assignment. This is I've had to have to have this conversation with many.
Hmm.
Have you, nowadays you haven't come for the classes, no? I had initially,
No, I came last week also.
not last week. Initially when I had the lectures.
No, I came, so I only missed one because of a funeral, actually. My grandma got passed away. So
Ah,
others I came. Only one
ah,
lecture I missed.
right. Okay. Why I'm asking is now this assignment. What do you have to do in this assignment in your view?
As a consultant, right?
Mm-hmm.
Consultant.
Mm-hmm.
That's the main idea.
Hmm? Yeah, you're a consultant.
Yeah.
Uh, so as a consultant, what do you need to do?
So for the my topic, so how are we going to reduce the labor shortage. So what are the precautions we can get for the to reduce the labor shortage? So those are the things.
Right. I'm not specifically talking about your report. I'm talking
Okay.
about this assignment, not about your organization as a consultant. But how do you go about uh, as a business consultant consulting for this organization?
Mm. Mm. So we can say analyze the business practices.
Are you guessing or are you telling me?
Oh, I'm actually guessing.
Yeah. So now that's the thing. So as a business consultant,
Mm.
what you need to do is first, now you're saying that the problem is that there's a shortage of people now. You
Yeah.
can't, when you're saying that there's a shortage of people, you have to quantify and tell us exactly what the problem is. So if you, as a business consultant, imagine you're an
Mm.
organization, you hire someone, let's say you're running a business, let's say a startup, right?
Mm.
If you ran a startup nowadays, what would you do?
Sorry, sir, I didn't get it.
If you ran a startup, what kind of shop would you do? What kind of business would you do? Let's say a restaurant, right? You start a
Okay.
restaurant,
Okay.
and now you're running a restaurant, but you're having a issue in terms of footfall, right? You're not having a lot of customers, so you want to find a marketing consultant, or say a consultant who will basically help you solve this problem, right?
Okay.
What would you expect that consultant to do?
First, I'm expecting to do analyze the
Right. What kind of
and
things would you ask that consultant to analyze?
uh, analyze the, so what are the opportunities we can get?
How would you tell the consultant the problem? If the consultant asks, uh, "What's the problem, sir or madam?" What would you tell the consultant?
Um, so there is a raw attraction for customers for my restaurant. So actually, I'm asking to have a marketing plan how to attract more customers. So that's
Yeah, but wouldn't the consultant, or wouldn't you tell the person what kind of, now you're dealing with money, na? So you would
yeah.
want to break even, to make money. You would tell the consultant, I'm spending this much on
Hmm.
this restaurant. I need to earn this much of money. So for this reason, I need these many customers on a weekly or
Yeah,
day-to-day
I
basis,
spend.
right?
Yeah, I spend this much.
Ah,
I want to cover it somehow this much.
right, exactly. So you
Yeah.
would clearly identify the business problem or opportunity for improvement. You're going to so in this report also, when you're telling us the business problem, right?
Hmm.
I need to. You can see my screen, right? Or
Yeah, I can see.
let
I
me
can
check.
see.
Ah,
Yeah.
right. Okay. So you, in this in the business problem also, how have you given quantified details, or have you quantified the labor issue? So you can't just say that the labor issue exists and
Okay.
this is why it's important that the labor
Yeah.
issue is solved, because
Yeah.
you're looking at specific problems. You're looking at a specific problem. You need to say, in this function or in this area of work, we are not having there's a high turnover, or we don't have skilled labor for these functions, and because of that we are not able to meet the market demand, and the market demand is XYZ. These are the countries. Bangladesh is asking for 125,000 units on of clothing on a monthly basis, and we can't supply because we don't have the enough labor. So see, I'm giving data, right? So where in
I.
this paragraph is the data?
Hmm. Okay. It means you need more stats, right?
I need more stats.
Yeah. Exactly. Okay. I got it.
these objectives need to be numbered.
Okay, so I'll do it. Format in Python.
Identify the root causes of labor scarcity and understanding major skills intervals in the workforce. Right now, these objectives are whose objectives? Objectives for the company or objectives for you?
It's my objectives, right?
As a consultant. Okay.
Yeah, consultant.
Okay, so I'm happy that you have put it set it. Now the thing is you have put about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You have only 5,000 words. I recommend that you choose 3 strong objectives. And what I want to find out from you is what you're going to do, what you're going to find out. So okay, you're going to identify the root cause of labor scarcity within the organization. Don't put put be very specific with your objective. Okay, so this is what I'm going to do. So I'm going to find the labor scarcity by conducting a secondary or primary research within the organization. Ideally, but by looking at the organization's overall performance from a month-to-month basis when it comes to human resource management or human resources. You basically be very specific about that. Okay.
Okay.
So you're not doing any primary research.
Yeah.
Uh,
actually,
so then now, yeah.
I
Now
am
this is
actually
something that yeah.
there's there's HR friend with me. So actually, I'm coordinating with her regarding this.
So where do you work nowadays?
I'm actually working at the sea line shipping. It's mostly for crewing side actually.
What do you do there? You find the crew.
Yeah, actually, I'm handling entire operation. Actually, we are working with lots of agents and everything. Yeah, mostly I'm handling crew.
Right. Right. So I think it would be good to do some primary research because as a consultant, you need to basically now you need to communicate with the organization and ask people who are working within the organization what are the actual problems, and that's how you can kind of come to a conclusion as to why there is a labor issue, right? Whether for example, whether it's a competition issue, are there competitors who are competing with you, or is there some kind of other inconvenience, or is it a legality issue? Whatever it is, you need to kind of speak to someone. So if such a problem exists, then it would be better to kind of either conduct a survey or basically speak to an HR manager or a couple of senior management people who are faced by the human resource deficiency, and then present that argument here.
Okay.
So now here you're not saying much with relation to the problem. You're saying, so it's very vague, right? So here you're saying the company helped to understand companies claim commitment to ethical labor practices, gender. So you're saying that the company has these things. Then you're saying that the further information was obtained from research works conducted by Fernando, who analyzed the workforce problems in Sri Lanka manufacturing firms, and Jasinha, who studied retaining skilled labor in competitive, and these sources help places. So how did it help? There are these two people who analyze workforce problems and studies about returning skilled labor, and these helped change the challenges in MS Holdings, right? So now these are, you're saying that two researchers that were conducted fairly recently actually contributed to solving the problem that you have identified, right? So they're counterintuitive or counterproductive in terms of, is not counterproductive, contradictory. So what the information you're presenting here now, I think a lot of people or a lot of students basically find literature that is related to the organization, and they basically put it in the report without actually looking at how it contributes to the topic. You're actually supposed to describe the problem here. So if you're presenting the secondary research here, you have to describe to what extent the problem, why does the problem exist, how is it affecting the business, how can, if it's not solved, what will happen in the future. So when you say root cause, it's one singular cause, one root problem, right? So you can't focus on multiple problems within 5,000 word report. This is to choose one problem and focus on solving it, right? So these are related issues as to the fact that there are, high turnover is the main issue. No? That is the problem that you would want to describe in the beginning of the assignment. Now, this is basically digging a little bit after research to see why there is high turnover rates. What is the cause? What's the root cause? So these are related issues, things that you would basically find out through the analysis, ideally. Yeah, so now these tools that you're using, you can't just basically give us a paragraph and a narrative about these tools. You have to actually apply it and do some analysis, right? So I'm looking for tables, I'm looking for tables which basically explains what the SWOT and pestle factors and what are the implications on the business, right? And then as a result of the SWOT and tester, nowadays you were there on Sunday, right? When I was speaking to the others.
Yes, I was there.
You would have heard I recommended that they do the TOES analysis, and I gave some feedback in terms of how to do the SWOT. So apply those things. Even the McKinsey's, you can't just write a narrative, write a couple of paragraphs. You have to actually apply it and explain how to use it, or how you used it in order to consult and analyze the issues that you were seeing in this organization. Okay, so that is moreover, now that's the thing. I feel that you have kind of written and covered the parts and ticked the check boxes, but you haven't actually done an analysis on the organization. And that is very apparent from the beginning. Don't get me wrong, but it's very apparent from the beginning because you have chosen a big organization, and at the beginning itself, you don't tell me what kind of specifics about that organization and why that big organization is facing an issue, and define the problem in such a way that is very specific and clear as to why this why this organization needs a consultant in you, and in what aspect, what kind of consultant, what kind of area that you're looking at. So here that is clear. That is clear because you're saying that you're basically looking at the labor turnover, the attrition there, right? But yeah, as opposed to just writing a report and covering all the aspects, you need to apply yourself and actually dig deep into an actual issue that exists. You saw some of the students on Sunday, for example, Idris and I can't remember his name. That other boy who was doing research on email marketing campaigns that his business doing, that they're digging deep and they're looking exactly at the problem, right? So when you compete and you're competing with students like that who are actually doing other work, right? And your graders, how will you expect the graders to pass you and give you a good grade? Because they are actually doing research, they're actually digging deep into the problem, finding a root cause, doing an analysis, finding recommendations that they can actually apply for that business, right? So it's one thing to kind of like fill the pages and produce something, but because in this day and age, with the access to information being so easy, any student who knows good enough English will be able to put together something like this. But actually doing the work and digging deep is another different kettle of fish. But you have about a month to do this. Why don't you kind of put your head down and kind of look at a specific issue, really dig deep into a specific issue and find the solution and look at applying, doing proper analysis and applying these tools to do the report, do a proper research. Okay, that's my genuine feedback to you. Let's do that, ne? Okay.
So you're asking
You
me to
have time.
change the topic, sir?
I'm not asking you to change the topic, but I think rather than taking a big conglomerate or business, I think that it would be better to look at maybe where you work, something that you really understand, and then give really specifics.
Yeah, I can
Cover
understand.
like a generic assignment, a very subjective, clear assignment where you're looking at a specific problem, because that is
Yeah.
the objective of the assignment.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Okay,
I
you
got.
understand what I mean?
Yeah. I understood.
Do you have any questions?
For the moment, no, it's better to go for another companies actually.
Yeah, if you look at MS, maybe choose a company which you can quantify the details, exactly, or a specific function. It doesn't have to be a company. You can be you can be MS, but if you specify a specific function within the organization, you say that okay, in the operations or the sewing knitting line, on the ground, this kind of issue exists, right? And you'll be able to find research also that talk about okay, basically being able to retain the women who sew in the garment factories, retain them and provide services, and the legal issues. Now there are a lot of legal issues that MAS faces in Sri Lanka when it comes to looking after women and the number of working hours that they can complete and the times also that they work.
Hmm.
So that's one angle that you can look at it from, right? From what I'm seeing here, it's very, you need to dig a little bit deep, and it starts from the proper problem definition. Okay, right.
Sure, sir.
Super. Thank you for coming today, and wish you all the best. Just send me your feedback form. I will look at it. Right.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, super. Who is next?
Hello.
Hi, Lakni. Lakni, where can I find your work?
I send you the email.
You send me an email.
Yeah.
Lakni, what did you do your assignment on? Informate. You sent me an email, ne? That's
Yeah.
what you're saying. What does your email name go by?
lgodagithar@gmail.com.
Lakshmi, I have your supervision log sheet, but I'm sorry, I can't find your assignment.
Uh,
Let me just check my spam. It's in spam. I found it. Right. There are 3 attachments.
yeah, I sent the proposal also because you said change the proposal. I changed the proposal. I select the company JKH, John Keels, and I changed the company as a Informate Private Limited.
Proposal you don't at this point of time. Proposal you were supposed to change it and come on the first week. Now you're supposed to be have done the report. So now, okay. So which one is the report now, Lakshmi? The first supervisory session, second supervisory
Yeah,
session. Out
yeah.
of this,
First one is the introduction and things, and second one is the analytics part.
right? Then I need to look at those 2 only, neither.
Yeah,
Right. Okay. Let's put it onto one document.
yeah, sure.
Okay. Where do you work for, Lakshmi?
I'm working at Asiata Digital Labs, but I select that company.
What do you do at Asiata?
Associate People Development and Culture.
What does that mean?
It means L&D, HR L&D.
Right. So you all have rural delivery centers established in Jaffna. What do you all do in those 3 locations?
I select the Colombo company. Or
Colombo company. Okay.
yeah,
But what happens in the delivery centers, Jaffna? They are like BPO offices, is it?
yeah,
And you all employ people in those locations.
yes, sir.
Do you all have a link? You don't work for Informate, no?
No, sir.
Who do you know who works for Informate?
Sorry.
Who do you know that works for Informate? That how did you get these details?
Actually, my lot of friends have their sir, so I select that because I can't do my company.
Why can't you do your company?
They have a lot of roles here, Asiata Group.
Okay.
I need to get approval from the CPO and blah blah. So that's why.
Right. Okay. So your problem is also employee retention.
Employee turnover.
Right. You need to put that under a different topic. Right.
Okay.
And I need to know how do you quantify the problem? How many people are leaving? And from which functions, which areas are the people leaving from?
I
So
see.
where is there a shortage of workers?
I create the surveys and I got 10 people who respond there. Also, I have to do the survey for the HR team and get to know how many people are leaving the company and what are the reasons.
Right. Okay. But before that, Lakshmi, now you're saying this is before you go into the business and go dig deeper into the business and do the survey and the research, right?
Okay.
The company at the beginning, you need to say, okay, this kind of problem exists, right? And that's why you've been hired now. So you
Yeah.
need to tell us, okay, how many, when you say labor turnover or employee turnover, which functions are losing employees, and as you don't know why at this point, I don't expect you to know why, right? So that is where the research comes in, why they're leaving and all of that comes in later. But what the
Okay.
problem is, how many people are leaving and from which business operations are they leaving, and why is it a problem? So the other factor is basically the fact that you all are spending on, let's say if you all are spending on training and development, and then after spending on training and development, these people are leaving.
Yeah.
And how much you all are spending on these people, how much you all have lost on that tour in the process of finding the good and right people, then you need to specify those factors, right?
Yes.
Okay, so that has to come in, huh?
Okay. Mm.
Scope of research. Okay, so you're only doing this for Colombo head office. So these are the only functions. So operations, finance, accounting outsourcing. Okay, HR administration, data processing, and IT enable. So these are the functions at the Colombo office, no? The main functions.
Yes, sir.
So you all have turnover when it comes to non-managerial and junior executives. So that's where, okay, good. I like the fact, but again, tell us in which, if you can do something like this, do a chart, list out the functions on the x-axis, right?
Okay.
And on the y-axis, put columns and say, okay, junior level non-managerial and junior level, executive level employees, something like that, and then give me the number of staff that exists and the number of staff that should be there, something like
Yes.
that, right? So
Yeah.
that would be very clear as to, okay, what the problem is and how many people, what the issue is.
Okay, sir.
External pressures on the broader BPM industry. Good, okay. Where are your objectives?
Down.
Can you restructure this a little bit? Bring the objectives here before the scope of research.
Okay.
Right? Here, your work is not too bad, but the structure needs to be fixed.
Yeah, sure. I will.
Can you refer this a little bit and just follow this structure?
Okay.
The friendly guide. Right? Okay. So now when you say intention of this study is to examine factors, without putting this, it would be, if you have the objectives above, you don't need to put this. Then you can say, okay, these areas are the areas that you want to assess, but giving some kind of secondary validation to the fact that these are the issues that are important when you're looking at this issue in a little bit to a deeper extent would be helpful.
Okay, sir.
Don't write a main objective, write 2 to 3 key objectives. Uh,
Okay.
right. So out of these objectives, I would recommend to take off 4 to assess how informates organization culture affects employee loyalty. That's more on in terms of it's a more of a organizational goal. Maybe you can write that as a recommendation. What is that the organization culture has to be improved or changed in a certain aspect, right?
Yeah.
I think you should write 2 to 3 key objectives. So you to identify the key factors influencing employee turnover at Informate is fine. By conducting a primary and secondary analysis on the or primary or deep analysis to identify the root causes or factors that have an impact on employee turnover. Whatever it is, you've said what you want to do, but how you need to add that. It would be better. It strengthens the objective. Because these objectives, you need to basically say that you have to fulfill these objectives within this report itself. Okay.
Yes, sir.
The other two objectives, now the other objectives that you have written are a little bit too specific. So what I would recommend that you do is think about the parts in your assignment, the analysis that you have to do, those different parts. I understand the root cause, understand those things, and maybe align to create two more objectives to say, okay, these are the areas that I want to look at. Because at this point you don't know whether it's career development opportunities or that is impacting employee turnover, or you don't know whether it's the compensation or packages or the benefit structures that are affecting the retention rates. Those are assumptions that you're making. So rather than making those assumptions in the objectives, maybe that could be part of your analysis and research and what you unearth, what you find out. In this, keep it a little bit general. I like the first one. Just see what else you can do. I'm not going to look at the research questions because that is not necessary for this report. You don't need research questions.
Yes, sir.
Instead of looking at employee turnover, can't you frame this problem as not being able to find skilled labor, people that have the right skills in your organization? I think that might be a stronger kind of angle to your assignment. And then in the same way, you can say you can put out a skill profile that you need to work at the entry level jobs in informate, right? And how many, roughly how many that you all are looking at, and how many you all have. So you create that chart or the table which explains it, right? That would be a
Yeah.
much more specific, because I think everyone looks at, okay, high employee turnover. But employee turnover means is, and what is high? How do you quantify what is high, what is low, right? So is high above, if there are, is it 10 people who are leaving every month, or 10 or 50 people that are leaving every quarter? Unlikely, right? So it's very difficult to say what high employee turnover is. But if you, I think the real problem that organizations are facing is they are on a constant hiring process, because they find it difficult to find the right people. I think that's an issue that a lot of organizations are facing, and I think John Keels especially faces this across its functions or different companies, because they don't pay very high salaries. They have other benefit structures that people have to, that would enjoy if they stay on in the long term. So
Yeah.
they compete in attracting the right talent, right? Because unlike those days, people don't look at the overall career, especially when it comes to entry jobs. They're looking at experience, right? But the
Yes, sir.
name still attracts people. So you can basically position it in that and kind of explain that this is the issue. Right. Now, these key problems identified, how did you come to these conclusions that these are the problems? Right. So this has to be a result of investigation. And what was the investigation that you conducted to find out these issues? So again, the structure is really important to kind of say, okay, this is what I did, and this is how I found out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you haven't used any analysis tools and all of that. So why don't you work on that a little bit, work on the structure and look at what is required from the assignment and deliver on that first of all.
Yes, sir.
Right. And pick your battles. You're mentioning a lot of different things here. It's okay to mention it and go into it and at a objective level, but pick which ones that are most likely to use the analysis tools, and pick which ones that you would really want to highlight. You said that you've done a survey, no?
Yeah.
So in that survey, what have you found out that is important? You've done the analysis separately, right? Let's see. Can you also basically look at the possibility of doing a pester? The pester, look at the implications and how the pester factors feed into basically the opportunities and threats, right? Contribute to opportunities and threats. Take these. You don't need the pictures. These pictures aren't necessary. But do a proper pestle. If you want to do the pestle in an annexure and then link it to the SWOT and say that, okay, and do a TOWS matrix that says that these are the strategies out from based on the SWOT. These are the strategies or the things that the organization can do going forward. What is it that you found from the SWOT? If I were to ask you, what were the key factors? What are the key findings from the SWOT?
Mm.
Now, there's something I've just seen is you're talking about the key strength that you have mentioned here is the fact that you all have a rural BPM model, which is different from the other employers. But now, how does that really help the Colombo office? You're talking about the employee inability to find the right skill labor or employees at the Colombo office, and you're talking about the rural BPM. So it doesn't add up. So write about strengths, about the functions in Colombo when it comes to human resource management. What else? What are the other things that you found out through this SWOT analysis that you've done?
Mm.
Okay, do a toast matrix and finish it there. So the McKinsey 7S framework, you're describing information, strategy, structure, system, shared value, style, and stuff. I want you to, okay, fine, describe what the 7S's are, but I want you to open up another column and say what needs to be done in order to make sure that the strategy is met. What needs to be done in order to make sure that the structure is met, based on the problem. How do you solve the problem, and what do you need to do in these different areas to solve the problem? Okay.
Yeah. Okay, sir. I will do it.
So see, you're writing this strategic misalignment between talent needs and organization capability. Maybe that should be the problem that you mentioned at the beginning itself, and explain that problem, and then dig deeper into that problem. That would be much more clearer. Right, and all of these other things could be details. Right, can you make those changes and come back to me?
Yes, sir. Sure. I will show you the next week.
Vileka, you're there, na? Vileka left the call. Right, okay, no problem. Kavisha Tharindi Ranavira.
Yes.
Feedback 2.
Hello.
Mm-hmm.
Sir, I'm Oshani.
Hi, Oshani. Yes.
Sir, I need get feedback for my project proposal.
Right. How did you emailed it to me, is it?
Yes, sir.
Oshani, na?
I send it research team email address.
I don't have access to the research team email address now.
Um,
You'll have to send it to me. Then you send it to Next Campus. Is it?
okay. Uh,
Yeah, I don't have access to that email. Can you send it to jeremyjdsilva@gmail.com?
just now, sir.
Yeah, send it now, will you?
Okay, okay. I send.
Right. Meanwhile, Kavisha, you're there?
Sir, again, please tell me your email address.
You can see the screen.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Sir, it's not clear.
You didn't get it?
Please wait. JECE, no?
No, JEREMY JDEZILWA@gmail.com. All right. Okay, I have to quickly move on to the next student. Kavisha, are you there?
Yes.
Right. What is this assignment? What's the, okay, so you've given a very comprehensive explanation of this organization, TASMA. What is the business problem?
My business problem is I identify non-managerial employee performance has decreased after COVID pandemic.
Non-managerial
Employee performance decreased.
performance. Okay. How do you all measure
Yeah.
performance at TASMA Biomass?
Tasma Biomass, they they get feedback forms from employees in every year. So from that
So how much has it decreased by? When you say that after COVID it has decreased the performance, how do you quantify it? By how much has the you have put, yeah, okay.
yeah.
So attendance rates have decreased. Absenteeism has increased. Employee satisfaction has decreased. Productivity output has decreased. Okay. How do I measure productivity output? That would be something I'll be curious about if I was looking at this. How do you measure productivity output?
Productivity I measured from the company reports, annual reports.
Mm-hmm. This company is listed? Public limited company, no?
Private limited
Private
companies.
limited. Okay, so you all have annual reports for this business. That is, which is possible, yeah,
I
okay.
have some.
But yeah, whatever it is, whether it's in the report or not, it would be good to know how you're, so since you're looking at productivity and you're a consultant, one thing that I would like you to kind of do is explain how the productivity is measured. So when you say productivity or performance, we need to know how is the performance, what is the productive, what do you mean by that, right?
Okay.
Right. So for one company, it could mean the number of like let's say for a garment factory, the number of t-shirts that are produced in 1 hour, that's the productivity. If the number of t-shirts within an hour is higher, then the productivity is higher. If the number of t-shirts drops, then it's low. So productivity from a year to year basis based on the skill of the labor and the experience of the labor. So they will look at all those factors. So how would TASMA Biomass look at it? This aim can be a shorter paragraph, and this needs to be shorter by half. And also you don't need to write a name per se, right? You just explain what the big business problem is and briefly state the objectives, right? So this aim is not necessary. If you want to write a name, you can keep a short one.
I told so this is similar to what the student before you, Lakshmi, I think, did. So the feedback I gave to her applies to you as well. Okay, you remember what I told Lakshmi?
Yes, sir.
Try to, without putting a subnote, try to include exactly, okay, so you're going to find out this by doing this kind of work in, or doing this kind of analysis in this report. 3 objectives, 1 sentence, which tell me what you're going to do and how you're going to do it.
Sorry, sir.
2 to 3 objectives that tell me what you're going to do in this report and how you're going to do it.
I want to find factors affecting non-managerial.
Sorry?
I'm going to find factors affecting non-managerial employee performance.
Right. I'm going to find factors that are okay. Yeah, that's the first objective, right? Right. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So what I told Lakshmi was, you choose 2 to 3 objectives, right? Don't be very specific about specific factors that. So you're saying that these 3 are the factors that you're looking at.
Yes, sir.
How do you know that these are the 3 factors that you want to look at?
I conducted the surveys, sir. So
Yeah, but the objectives come before doing the survey and all of that. The objectives come before. So best not to say that you're looking at this thing. So you're saying one area is that you're going to find out what the factors are now, by conducting a research on or research analysis on Tasma Biomass Private Limited. Then write 2 other objectives saying that you're going to further develop, identify the root cause, and the third objective is developing feasible recommendations that you can apply in order to support Tasma Biomass Private Limited, right? Okay, so those 3 objectives would be good enough.
Okay.
How many non-management employees are there, and whether you did sampling. You need to put look at the sample methodology that you can put in there, not a lengthy one but a brief one. In-depth interviews, who are the selected employees that you interviewed, right?
Okay.
Let's not put observations. Let's take this out. So where's the findings from your research?
Surveys and
What focus group discussions? What is this focus group discussions?
I create a questionnaire, sir. Then
So questionnaire is different from a focus group discussion. What is a focus group discussion?
group discussions means
Like when
I
a report තිබ්බ එකක්ද?
yes.
Huh? Huh? What is this?
Group. I get some details from some managers. So that time in group discussions.
So the managers did the focus group discussions.
Some attendance details, pre-COVID.
Do you know what focus group discussions are?
No, so it's I got from ChatGPT.
බොරු කියලා බොරු කියලා ඊට පස්සේ අන්තිමට තමයි ඇත්ත කියනවා. Responsible, so 75% of employees were overwhelmed. So where is this survey?
I can show that, sir.
ChatGPT also suggests that that the focus group discussion has been done. So where is the survey that you have done? Do you have an annexure with the survey?
I can use question.
Where is the survey? It's not here.
Can I share the screen?
Yeah.
This is my questionnaire, sir.
Wait, I can't speed read. I mean, okay, so there's a, right, go down. You're conducting in-depth interviews also?
Yes, sir. Some interviews.
Go down to see. Go down. Go further down. So some of the things, you're saying there are certain opportunities or certain factors that motivate me to do well in my role. And then again, you're putting salary motivates me to do well in my role. Now, when you ask these questions, the other thing is, do you point this out as a problem at the beginning?
Yes.
Go further down to see. So the 3 sections, is there anything more? Right. How you don't have any results from this?
Yes, sir.
No results. Okay, so now you put summary of root cause.
Data, sir.
The data you've collected.
Yes.
How many employees?
60 employees. I collected data from 52.
Have you analyzed it? Do you have any charts and graphs? Not yet, huh?
Not analysis yet, sir.
Okay. Right, I don't mind you using it. and basically putting it under those different factors that you have described, saying, okay, these are the things that you want to do. If you can kind of put together something around that, that would be okay. Right, but this summary of root causes doesn't make any sense. You can't do, I think you shouldn't mention that you're going to do focus groups and organization. You can't do all of this in 5,000 words. Since you're doing the survey, do the survey, right? And if you want to basically bring in some interviews that you have had with the HR manager and all of that, then that's also fine, right? I think this basically the survey responses, what you've actually found, root cause is very focused on a specific problem that you have found, right? So that would be at the end of it, you would say, I think, based on these issues that you have put, okay, so working environment, motivation, and organization culture, you can basically use those three and say, okay, this is basically what I found out in these three areas, because that's what your survey is also linked to now. And say out of these three, let's say motivation is the biggest issue, and this is the root cause because employees don't feel like there's any growth opportunities or whatever it is. So whichever one of those, you can see that that's where there's a issue, and then look at applying the tools. And you now the way you've applied the tools is like the previous students know you, so you heard my feedback in terms of how to kind of use the tools to do further analysis. You do the same thing, right? So do a pestle, make sure that the pestle highlights implications onto the business. Those implications basically contribute to your opportunities and threats. Use those opportunities and threats in the SWOT. Create a TOES matrix where there are specific strategies that you can derive from the SWOT to basically change and impact the business. Use the 7-step framework, but when you're using it, apply it, and not just describe the different factors, but apply the 7-step framework properly. So you've done something like this, using strengths to mitigate weaknesses. Okay, good. But now this whole part is 4,000 words. I think you need to kind of look at the structure and simplify it a little bit and focus on very specific analysis that you want to do. So there's a lot of information here. You'll need to work around it and kind of create it into a structure that, speaking about very specific problems. The other thing is, I think it might be better to do the McKinsey's 7-step framework first, and then use the findings of this to contribute to your strengths and weaknesses also. Okay.
Okay.
So do this first. Use your findings from this to contribute to your strengths and weaknesses, and then your pester, which will contribute to your opportunities and threats. Then do the TOES matrix, right? And then write recommendations.
Okay.
Okay. I checked y'all's entire work. Usually I would basically say fix the first part and come, but I looked at the entire thing for y'all. All right. Oshini, there's 2 documents here. Which one do you want me to look at? Project, no?
I send it.
You all 3 work together, or where do you work, Oshani?
I work on Kusala Meat Producers Private Limited, feed meal import section. But these days I resigned to my job.
When you're talking about this, I don't want to, don't write an executive summary. No, you have to write an executive summary. No, okay.
Yes. Times
That's
include
right. You're looking at Unilever in Sri Lanka, right? Right?
business for
You're doing this research on Unilever in Sri Lanka, right?
Sri Lanka, yes, and I global.
No. Let's focus on Sri Lanka. If you're doing it on Unilever, let's do it on Unilever Sri Lanka. Change this to Unilever in Sri Lanka.
Unilever in Sri Lanka. Oh.
Yeah. Right. And then if they have a issue in one product, how that's basically faring in Sri Lanka sales. Yeah, can you do something that is related to an actual problem that you can analyze and kind of assess, consult for something that you understand? That would be better.
More information I get internet and annual report.
Yeah, so that's the thing. You can't just depend on the internet and annual report. You have to actually act as a business consultant. You have to imagine yourself going into the business and actually looking at understanding what the core issues are, what are the problem. So I don't want you basically filling the report with internet research, right? You need to basically understand, okay, how do I solve actual problems within a business? So that's the objective of the assignment.
Okay.
Also so there's a lot of internet research and things like that which doesn't work well, right? And also look at the friendly guide and kind of adapt it to the proper structure, right? A lot of internet research and information that you have done here, that's not the objective of the assignment. Go back through the slides and see. The assignment is where your consultant actually is trying to solve problems for the business that you choose, right? So it doesn't have to be a big business also. It could be but it needs to be a business where you're very clear as to what the problem is. Okay.
Okay, sir. Structure is okay, no?
No, it's not okay. You'll need to fix that also. Okay. I didn't see objectives also. I think you need to go back to the assignment, clearly go through what is required. You have any questions, further questions on this?
Project proposal is okay, no, sir?
Project proposal, it's past the time to look at the project proposal, because I would have given feedback on the project proposal, and that's based on that you would have to give have done the assignment. Project proposal I would have only given on the first 2 weeks of feedback rounds. I would have given support. Now you're supposed to submit the main assignment, no? So let's focus on the main assignment. I want to look at the project proposal.
Okay.
Okay, you're clear as to what I think you've misunderstood the assignment. It's not a research assignment where you basically look at a business problem online and then like internet research and kind of fill the assignment. This is the same thing I think I told Anuradha. It needs to be where you're actually digging deep as a consultant and actually trying to solve the problems. So you define a very specific problem and then investigate further into that problem to see what is causing that problem, what are the different factors that are impacting that problem, and then develop recommendations based on a process of analysis. And the analysis process has been described, and I have done the classes basically explaining how the analysis has to be done. You can refer those. Okay, but yeah, this won't get you anywhere. This has to be changed completely. Even if it doesn't have to be a big company, even if it's like a small coffee shop that you're looking at, like the example that I brought up earlier, where you're trying to increase the number of customers, or even if it's an operational factor, you all aren't able to, it's a coffee shop that can't deliver to high volume, or let's say there are too many customers at a time, you all are unable to deliver to the customers because there's a lack of training and development. Whatever it is, it doesn't have to be a complicated issue. It has to be very simple, very specific, as long as you all understand what needs to be done in order to identify a problem within an organization and develop a clear strategy to solving that problem. Okay, that's the goal of the assignment, not to find a case study or that's online and then kind of restructure that information and write it on a report.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, then shall we end it today? Guys, since both of y'all are here, I'll end it with this. Were you all there on Sunday?
Yes, sir.
Both of y'all were there, right?
Yeah.
Right, so suddenly now I haven't met y'all before. I can't remember meeting y'all before. Y'all have woken up now and y'all are trying to do it here. But please remember, good, y'all have woken up even now. Maybe there are some students that aren't here that I have never seen. I can't remember some of you guys itself. Maybe there are some students that I've never seen, but who will submit on the day and they will submit the wrong thing. You all need to, it's not just I don't know how you all handle the other subjects, but with this subject, you don't just find random information and put it onto an assignment. Remember that this is a degree, an honors degree that you're doing, right? And anyone, if like anyone out there can basically ask questions from ChatGPT or find internet research and kind of restructure it and put it on a report and submit, right? That is not the goal of these assignments. These assignments are really to test out whether you have critical thinking, whether you are able to comprehend and understand what is required in order to solve problems within a real organization, right? That is what we're testing. If you aren't able to display the ability to do such a thing, and how would you count yourself as worthy of getting the qualification that you're trying to pass in, right? So please remember that. I mean, this is you're doing, and even if you all do something, now a lot of students, they give other people to write their assignments and then they just do something and pass and get the certification. But when you go into work, right, holding such a the value of that qualification will go down for you and for your colleagues if you all aren't able to perform and you all aren't able to fulfill. And it would be apparent when you all go for job interviews, because now they are checking more and more based on this. So and even when you even to go abroad and all of that, the value of a qualification depends on your competence and your ability to say, no, this is what I learned, this is what my capability is. So please take it seriously and actually do the work and actually dig deep into it. Because these are all done online, I think a lot of students take for granted the fact that they don't need to come into class and all of that, and they can do something and submit. No, don't do that. Aprade, ඕගොල්ලන්ටත් පව්. ඇත්තටම. Right? Okay, that's the best advice I can give you. Please take it seriously and do it. Okay?
Okay.
All right, good night.